Alright, today I'm going to try an experiment today of making homemade tofu. So I'm going to try one batch using canned garbanzo beans and a second batch using overnight soaked pinto beans. Let's see how it turns out. So the second step in this process involves us cutting open the cans of the garbanzo beans and then straining them. And I went ahead and rinsed them a couple of times with just some clear water to make sure we got all that canned juice off of there. We're going to be blending them in a food processor with approximately 2 cups of water. So let's go ahead to the next step and see how it turns out. All right, let's go ahead and power it on and blend. We're going to be doing short bursts of blends. We want to blend no more than 20 to 30 seconds. So I'm just going to do a quick pulse and then add in some water here, because we don't want to over blend. Let's add in about a quarter of our water, about a half a cup. Let's get this joker back on and let's go ahead and just add in the rest of the water. We'll go from there. I think I'm satisfied with how that came out. So our next step is going to be strain and cook. Alright, so now we're at the fun part of the video where we get our mixture into the pan. So I'm going to start by spraying my pan with some extra light olive oil just to keep it loose. And let's go ahead and get our mixture going. Pardon the background beaks. All right. We're going to go ahead and let me actually remove my blade. That would help. And then get my mixture in there. All right. Make sure it's looking a little runny here. But let's trust the process. Continue filtering through. I am working with quite a bit of material here. And filter it through, and while we're sifting that through, we're going to develop 2 additional arms so we can open our salt and season. Oh yeah, that's looking nice. Go ahead and continue to press. Press, press, press. Like we're Cardi B. Press, 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 press. Tofu needs to be pressed. In the process and after it rests, we always got to press. Press that tofu chick. Press that tofu chick. Press, press, press. Ow! My tofu, it's been pressed. Ow! Now let's let the mixture rest. Ow! Cook it up for the test. Hopefully it'll come out best. I never said I was a rapper. But I am going to strain a bit. I can out of this mixture here. All right. And then we're gonna have some fun with this leftover. All right, so let's go ahead and let it cook. I'm gonna stop the video at this point and come back once we're at more of a solid state. All right, so we are a few minutes into cooking. We're starting to get some solids at the bottom, so it's looking good. I'm just continuing to let it boil to simmer down while continuously stirring. So let's check back in a few more minutes to see where we're at. All right, so we're a few minutes into the mixture. Right now, it's starting to solidify slightly at the bottom. We're gonna give it some additional time so everything can cook down, because we want this to cook down to the point where it looks kind of like a pancake batter. So let's go ahead and stop the video here and check back in a few more minutes where we get a little more solidity to our mixture. All right, folks, so looks like this process is very time consuming. YouTube and IG lied to me. It made it seem like it would be quick. It lied to me. I should have read the recipe. It lied to me. I saw the guy straighten it into the pan. It lied to me. He stirred it and it looked like some plan. He lied to me. He lied to me. I should have read the recipe. Oh yes, I should. Okay, enough of that. Anywho, so the mixture is slowly but surely getting there. But I know it's getting solid because look, when I do that on the side, looky now. So on the side, we can see that as it cooks down, it is solidifying. So you can totally see chunks in there. So let's give it some more time and let it cook down a little bit more, and I will continue stirring and stirring and stirring like the Wicked Witch of the East Valley. All right, we'll check back in a few and see what it do. All right, kiddies, so now we are at the point that we want to be, where everything is cooking down nice. We're getting to that batter consistency, and we will soon be able to go ahead and mold. Now, a couple of things that I realized where I kind of effed up in this, Number one, all the bad singing. Terrible, terrible, terrible singing. But you gotta appreciate my freestyling skills, because none of this is scripted, none of it's written, all of it's just off the top of my dome piece. Second thing was that I should have blended this for much longer. I went ahead and looked over that IG video again, the recipe that I'm following. So it's supposed to be a 1 to 2 beans to water ratio, which is, I pretty much did like 4 cups of the garbanzo beans with 2 cups of water. So I kind of messed up there, and then I didn't blend it long enough. So I should have blended it longer so I could have gotten a thicker paste to work with to strain with. So I wouldn't have spent a good, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes just doing this repeatedly. So just a few, lessons that I learned throughout the process. So we're getting closer to where we want to be. See, it's now starting to look a little bit like applesauce, getting a little bit of a runny batter, but that's where we want to be, so this is a good thing. And definitely pardon the mess here with the pan. This is my test cook pan. I have a nice set of like some Gotham like copper pans and all, but I didn't want to potentially ruin those pans with this experiment. I've done that in the past, and yeah, no, not gonna go down that route again. However, I also realized that the Gotham pan would have probably been a better pan since that was more so similar to the cook surface of the pan that the original videos that I watched use. So again, a few lessons that I learned. Because of course, when cooking, the type of pan that you're using definitely will affect the outcome of what you're cooking. So whether things get stuck, if it's a non-stick or like the other type of pans, aluminum, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. But we are definitely getting to where we want to be and should be just a few more moments away from pouring it into the mold. So this is definitely a lot less than I was expecting. So I'm going to have to find a smaller mold here to conclude the rest of this experiment here. Alright, so I'm going to stop the video and then we will pick up again with us pouring into the mold. Alright, so we have our finished product here. We have our tofu mix. I let it sit for a minute because I was trying to find my pan and everything, so some parts got a little bit dry. So let's go ahead and spray our little pan. Get that nice and coated. And we're going to just go ahead and scoop in the mixture, which is laughably small. So I will say, for my efforts, they did not turn out as planned. However, if I had some chickpea flour, then I could resurrect this. I could definitely salvage it. But as far as my mold, I barely have enough to line the bottom. So we'll go ahead and refrigerate this and see how it comes out. Otherwise, we will be using the remainder of this mixture, the solid pieces, to make some chickpea nuggets. So let's go ahead and move on to that video. So we're moving along to the chickpea nuggets. So for our seasonings today, we're going to use onion powder, cumin, parsley, turmeric, black pepper, paprika, and salt. You know, I'm a salty one. I like my salt. So we are going to be using some kinkomon, Japanese style panko crumbs that we're going to add in some black pepper and paprika and salt to it, to your tasting. Just add that on in. And then I use some almond flour, about a quarter cup worth of almond flour, and a little bit of milk. I just stirred until I got the consistency I liked. I want a runny consistency. You may want a thicker batter depending on what you like. So next we're going to take our chickpea mixture from our tofu experiment earlier, and we're going to add in some of the seasonings. So I'm going to stop the video now so we can go ahead and season, and then we'll get next to shaping, battering, and then plating for the oven. Okay, so I have applied all of my seasonings to my mixture. So this is how my seasonings look. So I'm a little heavy-handed because I like my spices. Oop, and there goes my preheat. Woohoo! Perfect timing. So now I'm going to go ahead and combine, and then we're going to scoop and go. So I'm going to change camera angles and we'll go from there. All right, so let's go ahead and start mixing and scooping. I wanted to start the video first before I put on my secondary glove, because cleanliness before everything else needs. Because cleanliness is next to godliness, and godliness is like awesomeness. I don't know how those sayings go. regardless, the point remains the same. Food safety is number one, because even though I'm probably going to be the only one eating this, I still believe in proper food handling. So, now that all of my spices have been nicely incorporated, stirred through and through, and oh my god, it smells so amazing. I just realized I could totally make like falafels out of this, but I don't really know how to make a falafel, so I guess this might end up being like a bootleg falafel, but whatever. So we're just gonna go ahead and just keep this recipe going, which isn't really a recipe, I'm just kind of winging it, so yeah. Regardless, so I'm just gonna take a spoonful, and then I'm going to take it within my hand and try to press that into a patty of a sort. Alright. So cool. That actually looks like a legit chicken nugget. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lay that there on my little cutting board. Let's go ahead and put some more in here. Another. Alright, so I am going to stop the video here so that way we can reduce the amount of time that you see me just patting stuff together and plopping, pat and plop, pat and plop, bleh. Alright, so we have all of the almond flour and oat milk batter covered ones plated. Those did not turn out as well as I had hoped because, yeah, they just kind of started falling apart a little bit, but it's a-okay. So next is the panko only. So I'm just going to take this and just toss it around in some pankos. And then we're going to go ahead and add it onto the cooking sheet and go from there. So as I'm adding them on, I'm tossing them in and I'm actually patting them into the nugget. So that way it'll adhere a little bit better since I'm not using any type of moisture or any type of milk to get it to adhere. Alright, so this is what we're looking at when we do it that way. So let's go ahead and get it onto the cooking sheet. Continue, and then the last set is just going to be sat right on there. So we'll go ahead, take a quick look at how everything came out, and then get it right into the oven. Alright, so we've concluded the first batch of the dip in the almond flour oat milk mixture and then pankoed. So next we're going to just do the almond flour mixture straight to the cooking sheet. And yes, I said cooking sheet, not cookie sheet, because it's a cooking sheet, because you use it to cook multiple things, not just cookies. So, unfortunately, my little nuggie here just fell apart on me, but it's a-okay. I'll call that a happy accident. Flippity floppity, boom, was able to recover it like a sir. Boss, whatever, like a something. So anywho, like as before, I'm gonna go ahead and get these coated and then jump back on in a few with the rest of you to move on to the next batch. Awesome. Alright, so now we're going to start off by dipping our nuggies. Actually, I should probably let these firm up in the freezer for a bit, the more I think about it. But, YOLO. Let's go ahead and just go for it. If I do this recipe in the future, then I will definitely put it in the refrigerator for some time so they can firm up nicely. But for now, let's just go for it. So I have my first one, dipped, breaded, and then I'm going to scoop it onto my pan. And we shall repeat. Alright, there we go. So, let's go ahead and dip. Let's carefully flip. And then dip. And then scoop up top and around the corners. And then carefully lift. And then we shall scoop it onto the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here while I get these all lined up, and then we'll go to the next. Alright, now that we have all 4 varieties of our chickpea nuggets properly plated on our cooking sheet, we can go ahead and get them ready for the oven. So we're starting out with the almond flour oat milk dipped in panko crumbs, the almond flour oat milk dipped only, the panko crumbs only, and the naked, oh, I can see your everything, naked, naked, chickpea nugget. Alright, I'll stop with the bad singing. I'll try, I can't promise. But yeah, these are looking lovely. So they're gonna go ahead and pop into the oven at about 400 degrees. I don't know how long I'm gonna cook them for. So let's start off with around like 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna peek in on them and see how they're doing. Hopefully they'll be ready in that time. Actually, no, I'm a lie. I'll go ahead and peek in at 10 minutes with the 20-minute aim for cooking. All right, so let's go ahead and get these bad boys in and see what comes out. Let's give it a go. All right. So we attempted the chickpea tofu, which I still haven't pulled it out of the refrigerator as of yet. However, epic fail. Boo. Boo. Boo this girl. Boo. So anyhow, that did not work out as planned. However, happy accident, did definitely discover a new way to do chickpea nuggets. So there we go, still had a win in the end, because all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Alright, so anyhow, moving along, I'm going to recreate this the correct way using dried pinto beans. I soaked a cup and a half for about, I soaked a cup for about a day and a half. Alright, and now we're going to be incorporating this with approximately 1 3/4 cup of water into this Ninja blender. Let's see how this goes, because I've made a total destructo mess of everything. So let's get it. Alright, so again, going back to lessons learned from the first batch. So this time around, I am going to add in half of the water right away, blend, and then do the other half of the water. So that's about half of it. There we go. Let's get our trusty lid on and now let's combine the rest of our water. Yeah, let's get ourselves a nice thick one here. So far it's looking better than the prior, which of course will have different results since the prior was canned beans and this is dried beans. So let's go ahead and continue to blend. Alright, this is looking fantastic so far. So next step in this process is to remove from the blender and strain into the pan and start cooking. Alright, so I'm going to stop the video here while I prep my pan and heat and get that part going. Alright folks, so here we are again at the point of incorporating our blended bean into our hot pan. So we are going to use a strainer also saw via the method I actually read through that you can also use a cheesecloth, which I have cheesecloth, I just don't feel like trying to find it at the moment. So I am just going to use the strainer method. So I'm going to go ahead and dump it all in. I'll get what's left in there in just a moment. Oh, this is looking so much better than the can. This is coming out nice and thick. We like thick. Body positive round is fish. And thick is it. Hey baby, how you doing? Thick and creamy, nice and dreamy. Okay, so this is looking fantastic right off the bat. I try to press out as much as I possibly can here. But one moment, I set that to the side and gather up what we have left in here. We can go ahead and strain through. Oops. May have let a chunk get through there. Guess we'll just have to see once everything cooks down. So I'll be making some chunky tofu. It's all good. So now this next part will take a little while, as my last video evidenced to me. Whereas I assumed it would be quick and easy, it actually was like a 30-minute process of constant stirring, stirring, stirring. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down and get to that part of the process. Which already is moving a lot faster than before, so we're looking lovely. I do see some solids starting to come out, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here for time's sake and resume once we get to a more solidified state. Alright, so I have turned off the heat and I've had it just sitting on the warm burner for about the past 3 minutes or so, continuously stirring. I want this to make sure to get a little bit thicker than what it currently is, and so far it has thickened up quite a bit since turning off the heat. So I just wanted to make that quick note. We are looking fantastic. This is a much larger yield than the prior. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here while I find a mold so we can go ahead and get it solidified. Alright, so now I have my mini loaf pan here, and it's very much a mini pan. As you can see, it's about the size of my salt shaker. And now I'm going to use my mini spatula. Little spat! I love little spat. This is my favorite little guy. But it's because I'm little. So, you know, it's little ends we need to stick together. Now, our batter is looking thick. Oh, she thick. She ready. She thick. She ready. Let's get it. Let's get it. Alright, so let's go ahead and pour into our mold. I'm loving this because it's an actual pour. Not a little drizzle like before, which was very, very sad status. Made one sad penguin. So, anywho, now that we got everything all scraped off, this young loaf of deliciousness will need at minimum 30 minutes to chill within the refrigerator. However, I'm going to give it a couple of hours to overnight, so I won't be cutting into this bad boy today. No, 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 sir, I will not. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So we shall be looking at the unveiling sometime tomorrow. Alright? But I am very much pleased with this go around, because this one has yielded about 3 times the amount as the first. So, alright, here's looking to a delicious pinto bean tofu, all organic from the home. Alright, so I got curious, so I had to go ahead and take a peek at the prior tofu from earlier today. And this is what we have so far. Do you see the difference between the two? That is ridiculous. It's like a third, if not a quarter of a difference. And this isn't even the full tray. So I'll probably say it's about, maybe about a third to about a third. Regardless, I am happy with the secondary tofu. So we'll see how it all tastes tomorrow. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and demold these tofus that I made a couple of days ago. So it has been approximately 3 days since I initially made these tofus. Life has been a little bit busy. Que sera, sera. So anyhow, let's go ahead and start by getting some plates ready and a demolding tool, aka a kniff. So now that our kniff is ready, I'm going to start off first with our chickpea tofu. So I use these little pans. They're about the size of a knife, so just to give you some scale, relatively small. So I'm going to take this off camera for a quick moment. I just run this around the edges. And next, I'm going to take the plate, put it on, and bum, ba, bum. Nothing. Okay. Bum, ba, da, da. Okay, still nothing. All right. Bum, ba, da, ba. Okay, come on, dude, for real though. All right, I think I see what's up. It's slowly moving, but it's like, all right, hold on. I am going to actually need a spatula. So let's go ahead and run to the other side of my quick kitchen and get our trusty kitchen companion, Lil Spat. Lil Spat! So let's go ahead and try this again. Demolding. Using Little Spat. I can tell now that this is going to be considered an operational failure. Oh, that's a level of depression. Oh, oh, it's just a chickpea paste. Oh, all right. Well, that's our chickpea being revealed. Well, I'm going to pause the video here so I can clean off my spatula. Little spat! And then we'll move on to the pinto bean. Alright, now that little spat has been so freshened and so cleaned, let's go ahead and move on to our pinto bean tofu. Let's open it up. And again, it's been 3 days, so it has been kind of sitting for a while. Now the pinto bean, this one here looks legit. Like, you see that jiggle, you see that wiggle, that thing is solidified. So since there is some juice on here, I'm going to pause the video for a moment while I just go ahead and drain. Actually, no. I'm going to use this other thing, and I'm just going to pour off the juice. There we go. Let's pour all of that off. Oh, this is looking lovely. I am super excited for this. This is going to be so cool. All right, so let's move this knife Let's move little spat. Little spat. Get some of that jargon off. Whatever. And we're going to go ahead and try this again with the flip. This should plop right out, and boom! That's what we're looking for. This is the exact consistency we are looking for with our tofu. Look at this. This is legit. Oh my god. It's a thin piece, sure. You know, pretty much like half a loaf of like what you would buy in the store for the most part, half a block. But considering this was from 1 cup of pinto beans soaked overnight, I call that a win. And also when you look at like a bag of pinto beans, that's like what, a pound to maybe 3 pounds or so. Let's say 1 pound. It's like $1 and some change. So from that 1 pound, you get a few cups out of it. I don't know exactly how many. I never really measured it. I just kind of cook them as they come through or whatever, as recipes come up. But let's say you get, let's say 8 cups. So from 8 cups, you approximately have 4 full blocks of tofu for like $1. How much does it cost for 1 block of tofu? On sale, you may be able to get it for like $1.80 or so on a good day. Maybe even more expensive than that. I don't buy tofu that often. But regardless, this is how it came out of the mold. So our next step will be to cut and cook. Alright, so we're at the point where we're going to slice, season, and fry. So I'm going to do some modest slices on here. Ooh, look at that. Look how beautiful that slice is. That is wonderful. It's like butter. I don't even have to slice all the way through. Let's go ahead and get ourselves about 5 slices. Oh, let's go with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be our 6th. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them in the frying pan first and then season. Alright. I'm going to separate these here from our main block. Let's separate those into individual pieces using our spatula. Right. And this is my first time having a pinto bean tofu. I'm not really a tofu person, so I'm kind of extremely new to this. But I will go ahead and spray down my pan. I like foods with a nice char on them. Please ignore the avian overlord in the background. As he is busy at play in his bird area, which is quarantined off by a curtain. Alright, so let's go ahead and place our pieces within our pan. Oops, I am doing this in the most inefficient way possible, but it is all good. For the most part, you can see that the pieces have been holding up. As I scoop and place them, these fragments I'll go ahead and get in the pan as well. Alrighty. So next I'm going to season. I'm going to use a very basic season, starting with some granulated onion powder. Now I'm a little heavy on the seasoning, I will admit, but I'm only seasoning one side. So there's that. Go with some roasted garlic. Love my garlic. From Badia. I like Badia. Anywho, And next we'll hit it with a little bit of cumin. Sprinkle that on. Some smoked Spanish paprika. Black pepper. And salt. All right. Now I am going to go ahead and give it another spray. I really should have filled up my spray bottle prior to starting this video. So I'll go ahead and take the time to do so now. I am using an extra light taste olive oil from Bertolli. I will show you the bottle in just one moment here while I quickly fill this up. Not using a funnel because I'm hardcore like that. Boom. But yeah, this is my jam. And we are definitely in need of a flip at this point. Sweet. So let's go ahead and get everything nice and coated. Flip. Let's flip. 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 Obviously, I should have seasoned this before popping it in the pan, but whatever. Like I said, I'm not a tofu person, and with normal veggies, I can just do this or typical proteins. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video here while this cooks up, and then I will be right back once it's time to plate. So I ended up adding in a little more oil to the pan so that way I can get a faster cook on this and a better crisp. Since the bottom was looking a little dry, everything is looking fantastic so far. I'm very pleased with the way that it's coming out. The smells are fantastic. And yeah, I should be ready here to flip soon. And hopefully we will have a nice golden brown color now that we've added a little more oil. I'm going to add just a tad bit more just so we can completely coat the sides, but I just don't want to overdo it with the olive oil. So I'm just doing enough around it just so we get a nice coating, a nice crisping, enough to get up underneath it. All right. So let's go ahead and let this cook up a little bit longer, and I'll check back in with you in a few minutes. All right, so we have concluded our cook of both of the pinto bean tofus. So this one was cooked in an air fryer. This one was fried on the stove in a pan with some olive oil, as previously shown. Just gonna garnish this joker right quick. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So now, time for the taste test. All right, so these have been cooling for a little bit. They are extra crispy, as you can see. Look at that crunch. Yum. Let's try it. Very good. Has a nice tender inside. Nice tender juicy inside. And it kind of reminds me of fried catfish with all the seasonings that I put on there. So here's the air fryer. Nice and crisp. I should have flipped them because the underside is not. So I would recommend, I did 10 minutes to flip them at about 5 minutes or so. Or flip them at 10 and let it go another 2 minutes. Whatever your desire is. Let's go ahead and try it out. More buttery. I can definitely taste the beans, and the beans are so creamy and good. Both are delicious. Especially the pan-fried one. This one I will probably say is my favorite out of the two. But yeah, that's my tutorial. So there we go. We made and cooked tofu together for the first time from scratch. Hooray! So thank you for watching my video. Y'all take care and happy snacking.